On April 4th, 1949, the 14-article North Atlantic Treaty was signed in Washington, D.C. by representatives of 12 countries: the United States, Britain, Canada, Belgium, Denmark, France, Norway, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands, and Portugal. According to the treaty's preamble, NATO's member countries were determined to safeguard the freedom, common heritage, and civilization of their peoples by uniting their efforts for collective defense and for the preservation of peace and security. While the North Atlantic Treaty made allies out of the signatory nations, it did not create a command structure that could direct their militaries. The need for better organization was thrown into stark relief by the Soviet Union's successful testing of an atomic bomb in 1949 and the beginning of the Korean War the following year. In 1950, NATO forces were placed under a single headquarters command outside of Paris, and General Dwight D. Eisenhower was named Supreme Allied Commander in Europe. Since that time, the post has always been filled by an American general or admiral. NATO has never maintained a standing army of its own or paid soldiers directly. That is left to the individual member states whose soldiers serve in their own national armed uniforms. Nor does NATO buy weaponry, with the exception of a squadron of AWACS surveillance aircraft purchased in the 1980s and deployed ever since. Though the treaty has not been altered in its 6 decades, the strategic stance of NATO has evolved with the times. Article 5 of the treaty has been triggered only once. In the immediate aftermath of the 9/11 attacks on New York and Washington, D.C., NATO dispatched AWACS aircraft to patrol the eastern coast of the United States. Today, 28 nations, including some from the former Warsaw Pact, are members of NATO, and the organization's focus has shifted far from its 1950s nation-state total war approach. These are excerpts from History.net by Mark G. DeSantis. Please stop by their website for extended information. These are Interesting Things with JC.